about and understand patients' update and plans. Then also for the pediatric nurse, I need to earn my bachelor's degree, which also takes 3 to 4 years. And they usually work mostly in doctor's office, clinics, hospitals, surgical rooms, and other healthcare settings. Their skills they comfort to their skills is like to comfort the children, to be treated in an acute care department. They diagnose and undertake interventions to improve the health work of the patient. They perform physical therapy, change dressings, or perform other clinical care. And then for my 4-year plan, I've applied to 4 Cal states: Sacramento, Long Beach, Channel Island, San Marcos State, and in hopes I can go to the nursing program.
Thank you, Sam. Well done. We are here appreciating you. Our next presenter will be Ryan in just a few minutes while we get him set up. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, join my Zoom meeting.
Somebody's watching. All right.
Okay, so first, yeah, John, are you in there?
Yeah, me.
Okay, so first go like you're gonna present. Okay, then share screen. Wait, go cancel out of that? You start presenting. Oh, you have to present first. You can't share until you're presenting. So open it. Okay, so go there. Oh wait, exit out. You gotta present with notes. So go here. Okay, so then you have to remember how you have to under it.
What? You know, I saw a...
Okay, so this. And then this is what we want to put up here. That looks like in the middle. Yeah. Okay, so now you can share. And you want to share just this one. And let me make sure it's right. And make sure you're not muted. Okay, let me make sure it looks good here. All right, I think you're ready.
All right, shall I start right now? All right, so gun control and mass shootings. Mass shootings have become one of the biggest problems in the U.S. Trying to stop these massacres has created a debate about gun laws. Although many people believe that the problem is about individual people and lack of security, the truth is we have so many mass shootings because we have so many guns. So, mass shootings in the United States. To understand what we're dealing with, we need to go back to the very beginning, the Second Amendment, the one that gives us the right to bear arms. But it seems that some of us didn't quite understand that it gives us the right to bear arms, own a gun, even carry a gun with you, but it doesn't give you the right to harm or kill someone, which has become a big problem. Mass shootings and even school shootings all over the world, all over the country, are giving us a very bad reputation around the world. So, why does the U.S. have so many mass shootings? Well, the answer to that is we have a massive number of guns. It is pretty easy to have access to a gun in the US and other countries, not to mention that we have the weakest gun laws in the world. I don't know if it's funny or sad that the United States of America was and still considered a country full of hopes and chances to be successful. We all hear about the so-called American dream, where people want to come here to start over, but now I'm willing to say that there's more guns than jobs in the US. So, the so-called country of opportunities will become into a massive graveyard. But where does mass shooting happen? Well, talking about mass shootings always keep me thinking, where can I move, raise a family without having to worry about mass shootings? So I ask myself, where do these tragedies happen more often? There are many notorious shootings around the US, but the ones that are the most recognizable, but not in a good way, are the Las Vegas shooting in a country festival with 58 deaths, or in Connecticut, where the shooting of Sandy Hook took place, with 27 victims, including 20 children who were murdered the same day. Right.
Correct. And here's the thing. Although there is a chance Donald Trump has emboldened racist mass shooters, we also cannot say that he's the overall cause, because there were racist mass shooters before Donald Trump. It's the same way you can't blame stuffed crust pizzas for the obesity epidemic in America. You can't admit that adding a pizza to the edge of a pizza is not going to help people lose weight, but it's not the cause. So some people blame the internet, some say it's video games, others blame President Trump. But the thing we're hearing the most after these mass shootings is that the real cause is all in the head.
Mental health is a large contributor to any type of violence or shooting violence.
There's so many different factors you don't know. I mean, maybe a child's born with, something, mental illness.
This was a sick person. The person at Dayton was a sick person. No politician is to blame for that. You cannot be a white supremacist and be normal in the head. These are sick people. Now, again, this argument sounds completely logical. If someone kills a group of random strangers, they must be mentally ill. But that's not necessarily true. In fact, a majority of mass shooters have no history of mental illness, which is a scary thought, because it means most mass shooters are killing because they want to, not because something went wrong in their brain. So, what causes mass shootings? Is it the internet? Is it video games? Is it Trump? Is it mental illness? You know what's sad and frustrating about America is that after every mass shooting, lawmakers want to identify the one thing that causes all mass shootings. And if they can't agree on what that thing is, nothing gets done.
Alright, so as we all saw in the video, there are many causes and possible reasons why mass shootings happen in the first place. Some people might agree or disagree about these reasons, but for now, that's all we know for the moment. But does mental illness have something to do with this? It is safe to say that mental illness can be one of the answers of why we have mass shootings. According to my interview with Mr. Taylor, the mentally ill shooters aren't as likely to commit mass shootings than they are likely to commit suicide. Like Trevor said, the majority of mass shooters haven't presented signs of mental illness, so people are killing because they want to, not because something went wrong in their heads. What are the effects that gun violence have in our society? People are afraid to go outside, thinking that they might not come back. One of the most noticeable effects that this is provoking can be people who carry guns for self-defense. People are afraid to go outside thinking that they might not come back. But what people doesn't know, that carrying guns for self-defense and killing someone, unless they can prove that it was on self-defense, the Second Amendment will not justify those actions, and it might be considered as a murder. But why haven't we passed the gun control legislation? Although there are many people in Congress that doesn't really see a need for more gun laws, some people are trying to do whatever is possible to stop the problem. Democrats said that they will push to renew the assault weapon ban and try to ban high-capacity clips. The Justice Department may also revive plans to expand background checks, or at least show some support to those who are actually trying to do something. But that's a pretty picture, ain't it? Let's see actual data. So, gun control saves lives. Studies said that passing an assault weapon ban might prevent 170 mass shootings deaths a year in the U.S. Experts who support gun control estimate passing a universal background check law could prevent 1,100 gun homicides each year. Raising the age limit for buying firearms could prevent 1,600 homicides and suicides. But what stand have our leaders taken against this problem? It's safe to say that our government doesn't really like mass shootings and threatening society, so some people in the Congress have some ideas. Plan to reduce guns in the U.S., push for more gun laws, although there are politicians that don't necessarily see a need for more strict gun laws, claiming that they wouldn't do any difference. So, what our government is actually doing about this? Background checks, looking to see if they have criminal record of any kind, looking for licenses, seeing if they are eligible to buy a gun, or the assault rifle ban. It is illegal to buy full automatic rifles. But what is our president's opinion? The opinion of our president can be important because he is the one that should be looking for solutions and giving us hope. But he thinks that mental illness is the cause of mass shootings and that strict gun laws won't solve the problem. Not to mention that he believes in the ideology that good people with guns can stop shootings. So, what are some solutions for mass shootings? With a problem like this, we need to find some solutions. For example, keep some of the rules that we already have. For example, not being able to buy a gun until 21 years old. Or some other like background checks, universal background checks, one system for all states. Enforce the law that we already have. The red flag law, which is give information to law enforcement before buying a gun. Or follow the Australian example to reduce mass shootings. And the assault weapon ban and buyback program for restrict guns. So what is the Australian solution to mass shootings? As NPR wrote in 2012, the new laws in Australia prohibited all automatics and semi-automatic weapons and imposed strict licensing rules. Even paintball guns need a permit. There are also background checks and lengthy waiting periods of time for all purchases. We all can see how the rate of mass shootings in Australia has decreased with these new gun laws. We can use them. So does the Second Amendment prevent gun control laws in the Does the Second Amendment prevent gun control laws in the United States? The answer is no. We can still have gun control legally in the U.S. When I had my interview with Mr. Taylor, he shared something with me that I want to share with all of you today. The exact meaning of the so controversial Second Amendment. Okay, there you go. So, Mr. Carson, first of all, what is the exact meaning of the Second Amendment?
That's up in the air.
Yeah.
But I actually made a little graph for you. Let me see if I can pull it up. Right here.
It's just
There.
the sound.
So there's the Second Amendment. And the three areas of ambiguity in its meaning are: what does people mean? What are arms? So there's the Second Amendment. And what does infringe? And the three areas the Supreme Court has always said in every meeting, case where it comes up, What does people mean? When you're trying to give meaning to words, you use words for the way they're normally used. So, people is the one I like to pick on because it's an easy word. What does people mean? People is you, me. What about 2-year-olds? Can a 2-year-old, do they have a right to have a pistol in their hands that's loaded? I think the legislature could say no. And so, in the meaning of the Second Amendment, maybe people doesn't include everybody. And the Supreme Court has also said, specifically about the Second Amendment, people does not mean people who have been convicted of a felony. So felons aren't people in the meaning of the Second Amendment. That doesn't matter too much because we could probably all agree people who are mentally ill probably shouldn't have the right to carry a pistol around with them. Young people, and then the question is, where's the age? Is 16 old enough? Is it an adult? So that comes up because when you get to the meaning of the word arms, the Supreme Court, and that's a little less clear. What are arms? But when it gets to the less clear things, the Supreme Court seems to get more definite. Whereas with people, it's very, what's the word, wishy-washy. They're not going to use the plain meaning of the word people because the outcome would be too weird. So arms, one way to look at it is when they wrote the Constitution, arms meant the kinds of things that normal people had in their house that they would take to them when they joined the militia.
All right. So, what's the solution? Reduce the number of guns. Mass shootings around the U.S. are becoming one of the biggest concerns to politics in our country itself. Politicians are using this as a plan to get votes, saying things, for example, vote for me and all they will end. They are using statistics of the mass shootings and our sense of fear, trying to convince us that they can keep us safe. But all this is nothing but lies. And giving false hope to all those families that have lost a loved one in a shooting, in a school gathering, will more or less actually make any difference. Well, we'll be able to leave our houses without being afraid of not coming back because a shooter, if you ask me, when is this going to end? Well, when enough people care. So, career options and college choices. As you can see, I'm interested in public safety, in gun, in law to protect people. So I decided to try to become a criminologist. Criminology is the study of crime from a social perspective, including examining who commits the crime, why they commit them, and their impact, and how to prevent them. What does a criminologist do? Criminologists work with police force and government policy and lawmakers, sharing their instincts and helping develop action plans for preventing a crime or highlighting an existing potential criminal. Required training. Criminologists typically earn a 4-year bachelor's degree followed by a 2-year master's degree in criminology. Those who teach in a university or conduct professional research are often required to earn a PhD in criminology or a closely related discipline. My 4-year plan. When it comes to colleges, I would rather go to a 4-year college because I think I could get through school a little bit faster. So I decided to start in a college like California State, Sacramento, or Bakersfield. But if that doesn't work, then go to a community college like the ARC or American River College, or just not to go far, go to Syracuse and Mammoth, and then try again and see if I can get accepted in any four-year colleges. And this is my works cited.
Take a bow.
Good job, Brian. You did great. All right, thank you so much for joining us. Great job, Brian. We're really proud of you. We'll pick up at the last few presentations.